Mark Skaar on the Skaar Kaard on 103.7 The Fox. Proud to welcome in Austin Moe. Austin, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Well, my name is Austin Moe. I'm 23 years old. I've been playing guitar for the last 10 years, and I am considered a singer-songwriter.
That's it in a nutshell. Well, our first taste from you is a track called The River, and it's getting a lot of rave reviews. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I wrote that song when I went up to Frank Hannon of Tesla. I went up to his house with a bunch of ideas on my phone and a notebook full of lyrics. And so we looked through all the little recordings that I had on my phone, and we liked some, and some others didn't really stand out. So then we were taking a break from really trying to find something, and then I just started playing this riff. And when Frank heard it, he was like, "Oh, well, what's that?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. It's just letting loose, and my hands are just playing this." And he's like, "Okay, well, let's work from that. What lyrics do we have?" And so we looked in my notebook, and the very first draft of The River actually had the chorus as the first verse and the first verse as the chorus. And so when Frank read it, he's like, "Okay, well, this feels more like a chorus to me. So let's swap it around and let's try it this way." And so he picked up a guitar and he started strumming chords, and it was immediately just incredible sounding. And so we shot ideas back and forth off each other pretty much all day, and within a couple of hours we had the base meat and potatoes of the song arranged.
It's like an ultimate happy accident.
Oh yeah.
Tell me how you met Frank Hannon from Tesla.
Well, I met Frank Hannon of Tesla. Actually, this will be going back to my 21st birthday when my family friends surprised me with tickets to see them at a local casino up here in California. And I was so excited just to be able to see them. I got the idea of, hey, what if I could surprise my friend with getting to meet either Frank or Jeff or anybody from the band, because he's been watching them since they were city kid and playing the small clubs up here. So I wanted to surprise him really bad, and so I messaged Frank on Facebook, and I figured it was kind of a 50-50 chance because it is Sacramento, and you know, I can only imagine everybody that he's grown up with around here is probably asking for the same thing. And so I shot him a message. I was really polite. I told him, you know, my name's Austin Moe. I'm turning 21. I have this guy who's a mega fan, and I would really like to surprise him with just coming backstage and saying hello to you and the guys, and then we'll just leave you alone. We won't take up too much of your time. So I didn't hear anything that night, and I figured, oh, well, you know, they're on tour in Canada right now, so I'm sure they're really busy. And when I woke up the next morning, I got a text from Frank, and he's like, "Hey, Austin, glad to hear from you. I'd love to be able to help you out. How many backstage passes do you guys need?" And I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to meet freaking Frank Hannon from Tesla. And so I was like, we would just need 2 if that's okay. He's like, oh, yeah, sure. And so the day of the concert came, and we went backstage first thing, and I believe they had just finished their meet and greet because the banner was still up and the food was kind of half-eaten that was there, but we didn't see any of the guys in the band. And so we went out and started to watch the opener, and I got a text message on my phone. And so I was thinking to myself, well, who else could be texting me, because all my family and friends know where I'm at, and I posted on social media, you know, going to see Tesla, da-da-da. And so I pull out my phone, and it's Frank. And he's all, "Hey, man, are you at the show?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I am." He's all, "Oh, well, do you want to hang out before we go on?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And so he sent out one of his personal roadies to come and fetch us from the audience. And then we hung out backstage for probably 20 to 30 minutes, and it was just such a surreal moment being able to talk to him. And it still trips me out that I've worked with him so much this year already.
Talking with Austin Moe about the track The River and about his experience backstage with Tesla. So you and Frank are obviously probably molding a record right now, I'm assuming?
Yeah, right now we're at the stage of either we're trying to figure out what we want to release, either an EP, like 4 to 5 songs, or an album. We're currently looking through the material that I've been writing during the off time in between the music video of The River and since we've created the song.
What's the pandemic been like for you?
Well, it's been a blessing and a curse. It's been a curse because I haven't been able to play a real live show in the capacity that I used to. But it's a blessing in the fact that it's allowed me to be mentored by Frank Hannon and focus on songwriting and original music.
Talking with Austin Moe, I see you've got the Austin Moe experience. Tell me about your guys.
Well, right now, I am currently playing with my best friend since pretty much elementary school. His name is Spencer Olson, and I dragged him into my band, so to speak. I was playing a gig, and my current bass player at the time couldn't make it, and so I asked him if he could play, and he showed up, thankfully, and saved my butt. And since then, it was just such a positive experience that I kind of just kept him around. And he's the bass player that's on the River recording and in the video. And the drummer that's in the video, his name is Stephen Martin. He's a local guy up here in the Sacramento area. And he's opened up for people like Zakk Wylde and like Marilyn Manson and people like that in the past. And some of Michael Jackson's band members, they made like a little super group, and he got to open up for them and be support. And so I think the three of us right now are a really deadly combo to be reckoned with.
Would you say, Austin, that your favorites would be blues-based rock?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always turn that on the radio. Every once in a while I'll go to like Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard and Junior Brown, but for the most part, it's definitely blues and classic rock.
Would you say that came from your parents, having that around when you were growing up?
Yeah, definitely more so my dad. When I was younger, growing up, he would play like AC/DC, Bon Scott era, and the Back in Black album, and Kiss, and Dio, and my actual very first memory of music and really like asking questions and being curious about it was my dad playing Peter Frampton's Do You Feel Like We Do from Phantom Comes Alive while he was taking me to school in his 1974 Pro Street Camaro. And specifically the talk box part, whenever that would come on, I would always ask him, hey, what is that called? He's like, oh, it's a talk box. I'm like, well, what is it? He's like, well, I don't know, because I'm not a musician, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the guitar and something to do with your mouth. I was like, oh, wow, that sounds incredible. And then the record would restart, and then a wah pedal would come on. I'm like, well, what's that about? And he's like, that's called a wah pedal. And I'm like, what does it do? And he's like, well, just listen to it. It creates a wah sound. And so at a very early age, I've always been curious about music, and thankfully my parents have allowed me to pursue it.
Ah, that's a wonderful story. We're with Austin Moe. Austin, if people want to hear your music or learn more about you, how can they go about doing that?
Well, they can find my website is austinmoe.com, and on Instagram we are under AustinMoe_official, and on Facebook and YouTube you can find us under Austin Moe.
Austin Moe, the song is called The River. The video's out there too. He's working with Frank Hannon from Tesla fame. And Austin, thanks for being on with us. You're a very nice young man, and I wish you all the best going forward. Looking forward to hearing more in 2021.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a real honor.
For Austin Moe, I'm Mark Skaar on the Skaar Kaard on 103.7 The Fox.